Good morning, dear students. We are welcome once more to this our online lessons. Biology Form 3. In our last lesson, we started looking at the roads. Note that the lesson from your timetable is 1 hour 30 minutes. So what are you required to do? You have to make sure that you take up your pen and paper, so that when the teacher is giving points and other points are coming from your classroom, you'll be able to jot them down. You will make your own notes in the course of this lesson before the ones that are there for you to copy. And you will discover that you have some additional material when you are able to take down notes on your own. It is very, very important. You are supposed to make use of the 1 hour 30 minutes. Note that you can listen to the teacher talk, and as the teacher talks and you get the intervention, you can listen 1 time, 2 times, and then you get again to listen, and then this time around you can go step by step and take down points. When a particular area reaches and you want to take down the point, you pause there. You take down the point, you note the point. This is what makes you different from somebody who did not get the lesson online. Then, today we'll be looking at the monochord root, which means the objective of this our lesson. I will expect that at the end of this, you should be able to draw clearly the 2 types of roots. The dichord root that we saw in our last class and the monochord root. I want to imagine that if I call on you to draw, we will do it now, the dichord root that we have. So today we'll see the monochord root. So you'll be expected to draw these 2 clearly and label them at the end of this your exercise. Then equally, you'll be expected to state functions of parts. When you draw, you state functions of parts of the diagrams, of the structure of the root. Then I also expect you to give the importance of roots to plants and importance of roots to man. Which means when we say importance of roots, or when we say functions of roots, we are looking at functions of roots to the plant. Then when we say uses of roots, how are roots of importance to man, to humans? So on our chart here we have the internal structure of the root, and this is the structure. I would like somebody to look at this structure and compare with the internal structure of the dichord root. This is the monochord root. If you look at these 2 structures, can somebody look at these 2 structures and compare them and give us one thing about these 2 structures, either by differences or even by similarities? Yes? Can somebody give us, especially the difference? Is there a difference with this? Yes? Let's get to the person. Can somebody give us a difference? Yes. Somebody wants to try. Yes, somebody mentioned that in this monochord root, there is no cambium. But there was cambium in the dichord root. Very good. Can we applaud for you? Good. That's a very key point. Looking at the dichord, there's cambium, but here there's no cambium. What other difference from the structure? Look at the diagram. What other difference? Not forthcoming. If we look at the inner part of the structure here, and we compare to the inner part of the same structure in the dichord root, we will discover that the way the xylem and the phloem are arranged here is here they look scattered inside. But in the dichord, they were arranged in a ring. They were arranged in a ring. But here, they are dotted. The arrangement is not like in a ring. But in the dichord, they were arranged in a ring. That's one aspect. And if you look at this monochord root, just like the dichord root, we'll discover that there's a root hair, there's the epidermis, there's the pericycle, we have the xylem, we have the phloem, we have the endodermis. In our last class, we made mention of these two parts, the xylem and the phloem. Take note that this xylem and the phloem, we also call them the vascular bundles. We call them what? Yes, the vascular bundles. We call them the vascular bundles. And there are two parts that helps the plant when it has to do with transportation of water and mineral salts by the xylem and then the phloem to transport manufactured food. Just like we need water and food, that's how plants do, they need water and food. So if we look at the functions of parts of the root structure, the monochord root, this root structure includes the monochord root and the dichord root. These parts, they play similar functions in the two. We look at the epidermis. The epidermis is that outer part. It's the outer part. And like any other outer part, outer layer of an organism is always to carry out protection. So the epidermis protects the root, and this epidermis, it contains the root hair, and the root hair, they help in absorption of water and mineral salts from the ground. Very important. Then we have the cortex. The cortex. We discover that the cortex is that outer part. The cortex is the outer part. This inner part. That is bigger like this. I would like you to label it. Put a label there. Cortex. This inner part, this empty space is labeled cortex. I will see who was there and who was not there. So you put a line here and you label it cortex. Have you done that? Let's give you 30 seconds to put that label. Good. You have done it. We call it the cortex. We say it transports water and mineral salts absorbed by root hairs, store food, contain air spaces for gaseous exchange. That's exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Endodermis, it strengthens the conducting portion of the root and encloses the pericycle. When we talk of conducting portion, it is the work of the xylem and the phloem. So it strengthens them to carry out that function. Pericycle, we said it helps to develop branch roots, like we saw lateral roots in the external section, our view of the root. Then the xylem, it transports water and mineral salts, gives strength and rigidity. Rigidity means firmness. It makes the roots firm in order to carry out its function. Then the phloem, it transports manufactured food. Take note that this vessel also takes food that is manufactured during photosynthesis and is transported to the root so that the roots can build up in order to absorb more water that is required for that photosynthesis. And equally, take note that the phloem also serves as a storage organ, which means it stores food. Then we have the cambium. We say this is a layer that is formed in between the xylem and the phloem. It helps to form the new xylem and phloem. We just indicated from the beginning that the dichord root has the cambium, but the monochord root lacks the cambium. So this is one aspect of their differences. And this cambium, if we say it forms a new xylem and phloem, it means when the xylem works and the phloem works, the cells get tired. So the cambium always helps to build back the cells of the xylem and the phloem. Then the pith, we say, is a large portion at the center that helps to space out the vascular bundles. This is the xylem and the phloem. And we discover that when you look at the two diagrams, you see which one, and even the size of the pith. The pith is that center part that helps to space out these bundles, because these bundles, the xylem and the phloem, when they are spaced out, they carry out their function efficiently. Then there's this exercise that you have to do. This exercise that you are to do After going through the dicot route, the structure of the dicot route, parts of the dicot route, and the monocot route, you come out with the differences between the dicot route and the monocot route. This exercise should be done immediately as you are doing the lesson. So which means as you go through the lesson to the end, you come back and then you do this exercise. After reviewing your last lesson, you come out with the differences between the dicot route and the monocot route. Then we have functions of routes to plans. Take note here that if the question just asks, if you are asked a question, what are the functions of routes? You will answer this in relation to the importance to plans. Then if they say state uses of routes, you look at the uses in relation to man, in relation to yourself. How are the roots of herb to me? So the functions of roots to plants, first, we have herb in absorption and transportation of water and mineral salts. We have been seeing that. We are just revising. They support the plant in the soil. They penetrate and loosen the soil. We know that the soil needs air. When the roots are penetrating the soil, they loosen the soil, and it makes it easier for the soil to be aerated, to have enough air, enough oxygen. Herb in vegetative propagation. This is a process of asexual reproduction. How is this occurring? Some roots are modified and they are able to produce young ones. That's the meaning. Modified roots. This is the development of young ones from modified roots. That's what we call vegetative propagation. If we take examples of roots like, let's just take yams. You discover that when you get the yam tuber and you cut one part that you eat and leave the other part, after some time it will shoot. That shooting is already the young one that is formed. That is a process of vegetative propagation that could also come from roots. Development of young ones from modified roots, in this case of roots. Then, we say some roots store plant food. They are storage. The yams we mentioned are storage. Can somebody give us some examples of storage roots that we have? Yes. Somebody say cassava. That's good. Cassava. Yes. Can somebody give another example of storage roots? Somebody say carrots. Good. Even we had carrots in our campus that was planted. I quite remember that. Somebody can recall carrots because we have carrots that we planted. That's very good. That tells us that the person is very sensitive to the environment. So there's assignment here that after looking at functions of roots to plants, you now come out clearly. You write out clearly the uses of roots to man. How are roots of herb to you? You come out with those uses. This is our lesson for today. I know that you always have some worries, some questions to ask. So you should not relent to ask in the course of the lesson. When you are following up, take note of your question. I say you should be writing. So if there's any problem, also write it down and then just post it online. You will just get the feedback. And I also want to let you know that when you participate in the lesson, you indicate either by commenting on the way of doing your assignment and also to comment on the lesson so that I should know that you were on. And then take note that your work should be, you have to post your work so that it should be marked, it should be corrected. This will help you a lot. That is it for today. I wish you a nice time. Keep working. Keep the spirit of my DENNY. And then we will not regret at the end. The coronavirus will not affect us. We should have been learning even in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. Have a nice day.